Okay. All right. I'll call the
This
Sustainability
conference
Commission.
will now be recorded.
Oh, let's start the. I'll call the order of the Sustainability Commission meeting, April 6th, 2020, 7 o'clock. So greetings to everybody. Hope we're all not COVID-19 out, but as far as that goes, so the reason, as far as you know, I think town meeting is going to be delayed at least until the end of June. So as far as we're talking about our action plan, we don't, my feeling is we don't need to have the whole action plan done by town meeting. And I think we'd probably, and if we do have, go back on the town meeting, if we do have a town meeting at the end of June, it'll be very abbreviated because they'll just need to get done what has to be, you know, just to keep the town running. And so there will probably be a bigger meeting in the fall, as I understand it. So we'll probably be talking, you know, a scaled down version in June if we do it then, and then a bigger town meeting in October, November. That's my understanding. So we probably should gear for the fall anyways to have the sustainability plan done as much as we can get done. So that's more the goal. And my feeling too was if we got the goals and the strategies done and we can, you know, see how far we can get with the narrative of it, I think that'd be better for us as, you know, if we finish it, we finish it. But if we don't, if we get the first two parts done, you know, I think we'd be doing good because this has really been a disruption of what we all normal. So as far as that, so I was just going to start with the subcommittees to see where we're at, and not that we want to beat everything up tonight, but just see where we're, you know, how much we're meeting, how much goals and objectives we've done, and just take a pulse more than anything else. And then we can schedule another meeting and then talk about, you know, maybe break them up into, you know, I don't know if the other thing too is how much the subcommittee's been able to meet too. That's a big, you know, you know, that's, I think, a problem too, as far as, you know, how many of these meetings can we do because everybody's, you know, working somehow in some place, and then trying to also, you know, you're probably video conferencing, you know, your other, you know, your own line of work and all that too. So, so who wants to, John, do you want to talk about the solid waste or anything, or?
Yeah, thanks, Peter. We haven't been able to meet, but we're on over the next couple of weeks, and we're able to book a meeting.
Okay.
There really hasn't been any activity over the past month. I know personally, I've been swamped with work since the beginning of March.
Yeah. I don't feel. As far as do we have any goals that are, we've started something, we had that first pass we had back at the beginning of March, right? As far as goals, and we haven't done anything since, right?
Correct. Yeah, I think we're just picking up from there essentially.
Okay.
I do think we're in pretty good shape on that subcommittee because when we had that in-person meeting, we made a lot of progress on our goals and objectives. So I feel like there we probably need to do some work on the narrative part, but we've fleshed out the goals pretty well, I think.
Okay. Okay. Energy. Anything happening with the energy subcommittee?
Hey, Peter, it's David. We've not met. I mean, we've talked a lot off and on, but not in the last month. I've flushed out a lot of the plan based on, you know, some of the things that we're borrowing, I should say, as well as, you know, taking a look at what the town has mandated to do now that it's a green community, trying to get those in alignment. So I really need to pass it around to to Brian, and God, who else is on the committee, and get some feedback. And so not much to report, but we have some progress.
Okay. So I'm showing John, David, and Mark on the energy. Is that right?
I think it's Mark. Is it? I thought Brian. Did you say Brian?
No, it's John, David, and Mark. That's what you and John and Mark.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Okay.
Okay. My apologies to John and Brian.
Okay. So, do you have anything? I have to apologize. I'm not good with Google Docs. I can't even say it. Never mind do it. As far as that goes, so I can't edit for some reason. I can't. My laptop is work laptop, and I can't do anything with Google Docs on my laptop. And at home, it's a Mac, so everything gets translated into pages and all that other stuff. So it gets difficult to edit it, because then I'm Microsoft, and then going back to I'm all between everything, and so it doesn't really help me to do much in Google Docs. So I'm kind of hopeless there. But if you guys can, put whatever you have up on Google Docs, make the best of it eventually. I'll figure out how to get my copy. Did you lose somebody? Flatline somebody?
I don't know where that's from.
I know it. That sounded like if you've been in an emergency room, it's a flat line with a EKG just going, we lost the patient.
Yeah.
Okay. Public health?
I can speak. We met right before all this happened, and we have goals and strategies that we had fleshed out and put into the Google Docs. And I think probably it's, and Emily and Joe can speak too, but they probably need to take another pass and just make sure we're comfortable with it, and then start the narrative.
Yeah. Did you put pandemic in?
I think that is in there.
Oh, the other thing too, I was trying to put something on Google Docs and it never got that far. One thing is hunger, malnutrition are goals for public health. And there's transportation issues. I think you had some of that. There's one other thing. Malnutrition. Obesity. Obesity is,
Yeah, we have healthy and sustainable diets, but yeah, maybe we can specifically say obesity.
Yep. Yeah, because, well, coming out of this pandemic, we might be better off healthy because we're driving less and walking more. It's a change in, normal everyday life now, as far as that goes. We see so much walking now because that's the only thing you can do.
Yeah.
No sense driving anywhere. But it's, this kind of reminds me when I was a kid in the 60s and 70s, that's how much traffic was on the roads back then. We didn't have the, rush hour. There was a rush hour, but like during the day, you could go down. I remember going down Route 3. You never see another car except yourself going down Route 3 down to the Cape and stuff like that during the day. So we're seeing it kind of reminds me of what the roads were originally designed for. Like the Southeast Expressway was built for 20,000 people. It's carrying 120,000 people. Nowadays. So everything is way over capacity in this area. So.
Well, it also might be good to note, like, right now it's just observed data, but, when the full data is out, the reduction in, carbon footprint and the impact that this whole thing is having on, the environment, and just to see what a very drastic change can do in such a short window. Just we could include that kind of information in it that might highlight, look what the state of Massachusetts, carbon footprint went from February to whenever this is over, and the impact that it had. I mean, it might be just another thing to kind of spur awareness, and everyone's lived through it, and say, hey, look, as much as this sucked, this was the impact it had. So when that information's out, maybe it might be worth putting into some sort of like PowerPoint form as far as the maybe with the one new thing or the presentations go.
Yeah, but we take a while to get that number though.
Yeah.
But towards the end of the year, at least, like an organization like MAPC would probably be looking to, there's a couple of organizations be looking to jump on that type of number because they want to prove, their points as far as, driving less, walking more, public transportation and things like that. So there's organizations that be dying to get the, see if they can, drive a number there and get that up and, prove a point as far as that goes. So anybody else have anything you want to say on public health? No? Okay. Move on to resiliency. And who's Heather or
I can
David?
speak to that, but Joe and David jump in. We had met a while ago now. I don't even remember when it was.
Yeah.
It was about March or
January.
Yeah, it was probably February. So I've done some initial work to pull in parts of Norwood's MVP plan or report that talk about specific vulnerabilities in the town. So I've done an initial pass on that and then started to think through some other ways that we as a town could boost our resiliency. I think one thing that's a little bit tricky is thinking about metrics around resiliency. So if we think about having a measurable goal, I don't know if others have thoughts on what that could look like, but it's pretty broad and abstract right now, at least.
Yeah, I know that's come up a few times, and that was actually at that first outreach meeting we had, that educational thing, that from people that were there, that was a few things they commented on was it'd be nice to have something to measure by so people could see their impact, like if there was a way to see how these changes or how things Norwood is doing or residents are doing has an impact, and the way to measure it. And that was something we talked about as a group too, is the education group, is how would we put this all in language basically that's easy for people to get so that they feel inspired or they see the change over time.
Just a question, wouldn't the MVP program have metrics built in that they have to measure by for certain things too? Isn't there some metrics that we probably take from there?
There's some initial things you need to do to be designated. And then from there, it's mostly about applying for grant funding to do certain resiliency actions. So maybe we could tie it to that. Maybe we could say, within the next year, we want Norwood to apply for an MVP action grant. I don't know if we would want to specify what that should be for, but maybe it's just a good goal to be trying to bring in funds for resilience work. That could also already be in the works. I don't even know.
Well, I would think, I know Joe Collins can answer this, but I think the planning department is the driver on this. I'm not sure though. I think they're the ones that apply for, well, that was Green Community. Was it?
Yeah, actually both. They were the primary lead department that applied for the Green Communities designation as well as the MVP. I'm actually pulling up the final MVP document right now.
Okay.
Weren't most of the grants tied to flooding and dam work? Or was there more involved with that?
The grants that have been awarded?
The grants within the program.
Yeah, Some of them are. There's a lot for green infrastructure. There's a lot for community-wide assessments, like really narrowing down, okay, we want to look at where we have heat island effect or where specifically flooding is an issue in the community. So there's, at least it's envisioned to be, I mean, it hasn't been around for that long, but it's envisioned to be pretty much anything you could think of related to resilience. And you can also look at, I know some communities are doing assessments of vulnerable populations within their community to climate impacts. I think
The dams and the flooding stuck into my mind is, wouldn't insurance rates be influenced by, I guess, flood zones and critical areas? Isn't that a metric we might be able to leverage?
Yes,
Which
absolutely.
yeah, we
but
could.
isn't that data traditionally pretty out of date? Like a lot of flood zones aren't looking at projected climate impacts. They're just looking at past flooding.
Well, as it changes, insurance companies, actually, I just happen to have read about this, as certain changes in the environment have impacted the climate. Insurance companies are recognizing that and are changing insurance premiums. For example, I think it was maybe a couple of years ago, I think I was listening to NPR, and there was a community, I think it was in California, homeowner insurance basically skyrocketed because the area which previously was forest fires were not a threat to that area at all. About, I don't know, not really that long ago, but in recent years that has changed. So the insurance companies have adjusted their premiums accordingly.
Well, they had a big thing probably 5 years ago with the all the rates changed because of the what was it? Flood zoning, especially at the coast. Like the rates like tripled or quadrupled or something like that back about 2015 because of all they changed the rates and prioritized or how they evaluated property, and if a property wasn't up on stilts, it was, excess higher, a lot higher value. And if it was on stilts, it was different and things like that. So you had to do a lot of things. People had to do a lot of improvements to their properties, or they would get whacked with their insurance premiums. So that was a lot down by the coast, Situates and the Marshfield, Sandwich, places like that. Coastal community got zapped pretty good because of flood zoning. Good company, Joe. So I think we should be able to find, well, to apply for the grants, we probably had to have some baseline metrics anyways. So we probably just need to find what those metrics are and see how we can go from baseline, how we measure up from baseline. I look at those things first and what makes sense and what we can do and easy to do. I don't know, anybody else have anything they want to put in on this? On resiliency?
No.
Are hearing none. Would you want to get on to education and outreach? And I think Brian's got something to say, maybe.
Yeah, I put it in the email, but just I've taken a crack at recording that presentation and just was looking for feedback with the idea that we'll post it online now for people to have access to. And also I know the, which John probably knows more about, the Earth Day thing is going to be more virtual this year. So I know they're going to send out stuff. So it could be one of the things that's sent out. So Peter gave me some feedback. I think a couple of statistics, and then also the idea of maybe cutting it into 3 or 2 parts, just so it's more digestible for people. But if there's any other feedback, you can let me know, and then I will re-record it this week, and then send it to you again. And then if you all are good with it, then Joe will put it up on the website, and then Heather send me feedback as well.
My feedback was that it looked good.
I thought it was great. I think you just about. Do you have to re-record it? Can you patch in where you re-record certain areas, or you have to do the whole 25 minutes again? I lost you. No.
I'd probably end up re-recording. I probably could record parts and edit it, but I'd have to make sure I'm wearing the same thing and all that. So I'd just probably redo it all.
Well, one thing is I would keep it in its entirety. If you're going to break it into components, make it a second, don't override keep your first and the whole presentation together. If you break it into the components, it depends on how you feel about, it was 25 minutes. If you feel like you can break it into components, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think after you sent that, what I was thinking was at least have one component be the standalone One New Thing Norwood, because that may be something we just want to send to people quick, like a quick 3 or 4 minutes of here's what we're doing and why and how you do it. And then the other parts, like the history of climate change, which I wasn't sure if we needed, and then why Norwood and what Norwood's doing. I don't know if those are, like, the history is 1, and then why Norwood and what Norwood's doing is part 2, and then part 3 is our initiative. Because I could see us just sending that initiative piece to people as this gets going and not needing the whole 25 minutes. So I think it's probably worth it to cut that into at least 2. And then if we want to do 3, it would be the history of climate change, what Norwood's doing and why, and then the new initiative. And it's like you said, I'd probably record it all once and then just chop it afterwards into 3 parts. But that's not that hard to do. So that's at least a thought at this point, is I'll just go back and redo it.
Good. Whatever you think is best as far as that. Anything else on education outreach besides the presentation or anything? We probably just work into.
Joe sent me back results of the survey as of, I think, a couple weeks ago. We had 47 respondents. So, and this was before everybody was homebound. I'm going to post it back up on Norwood now. It seems to be a pretty active Facebook page. I'm going to try to put it up there. I was going to print out a QR code and put it at the breweries and all that different kind of stuff, in certain places, but that, was kiboshed. Excuse me. So right now it's just, 47 doesn't seem like a lot to start really assessing everything, but the strong feeling the strong results I'm getting from the survey so far is these are all people that were, like, for example, at the initial education and outreach subcommittee. Some of you names are on it. So I don't think it's really ready to aggregate everything yet and sift through it. There are some interesting comments that people made. So people are, 47 was pretty good just for an initial response, but like I said, I'm going to put it back on to Norwood now and see what other town avenues we can try to get, now that more people, I think, are going to have spend more time online.
Give them something to do.
Exactly. Maybe I'll make it longer just so they have more time to kill.
Do you guys know if anyone has used the hashtag yet?
No, we could check.
Yeah, I checked like within that first week and it hadn't been, but it may be by now. I doubt it, but who knows?
Yeah.
I did once on Twitter.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Let's see. That's all I have on the survey right now.
All right, well, thanks, Joe. Nobody has anything else to say on education outreach, and we'll move on to, well, what was gonna be Earth Day. John, if you have anything you wanted to enlighten us with?
Yeah, sure, I can. Thanks, Peter. Earth Day has been canceled, or as this April. We had basically the trash cleanup scheduled, and then community picnic and fair at the Common afterwards. And so we canceled those events, and we're going to actually go digital, like Brian was saying. We're going to start next Monday. So I'm just looking at the calendar now. April 13th. So next Monday through the Earth Day, which is April 22nd. So for about a week and a half, we're going to feature 1 to 2 of the organizations that was going to be at the Community Picnic and Fair. What we'd like to do is actually feature this group and the one new thing for the actual Earth Day on the 22nd. So through social media, Instagram, and Facebook. Link up on the website as well, but we would like to feature this group on actual Earth Day.
But John, where are you going to be? Is that going to be through Progress Norwood, or where is that going to be on?
Yeah, we're still trying to work through all the details on that, but yeah, basically Progress Norwood's website, and then just over to the different Facebook groups and Progress Norwood's Instagram account.
Because maybe if you could also, I mean, I think most people are probably on there in this group, but also if you could like either forward it to us or somehow get it to this group, and then we can spread out that stuff each day too and kind of build.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a really good idea. What we're going to do is we're going to have like a distribution group, and I can just add everyone's email to that. As far as reaching out for ideas or input. So yeah, when we do post different things, we can definitely send it out to this group. That's a good idea.
Okay.
That's all I have for an update, really.
Enough. I guess our presentation at the library on May 7th, since we're in lockdown until May 4th, I don't think we'll probably be having that because, I mean, odds are this is probably going to get extended to May. I mean, I don't. My hunch. A lot of people talking now June 1st, but they can just say that's kind of not a high priority thing that's going to get done. Even if it was lockdown was taken off on May 4th. So as far as I can say, people will be kind of timid about coming out in groups anyways. It's like going to concerts in June. You think, are you jumping at the possibility of going to a concert in June? So it takes me to where we want to do, what we want to do as a commission, now that we're still on, if we want to kind of meet every other week or something like that, virtual like this, and maybe talk about one subcommittee or 1 or 2 subcommittee things at one time, go through it, and work through the what the goals and the strategies are, and we can talk maybe help with some of the narrative, and just kind of rotate through them until we're back on having physical meetings, which probably won't really happen until the fall. Say if we're locked down if this is extended to May, who wants to, you might want to have to go back to work in June, but I don't know how much you want to be doing. The same thing as what you want to be doing July and August, as far as that goes. But, I think maybe we could just, we don't have, and probably the meeting wouldn't be more than an hour anyways. So 1 or 2 topics and just kind of go through them and talk about them, update each other, and we'll go from there. Just to keep everything, keep information flowing as far as that goes. If you come up to something, we can share it. And as far as that, what's anybody's thought about that?
Peter, I was thinking maybe let the subcommittees work sort of together over the next month, and then we, come together in May, and then we can start doing every other week from there. That's sort of just my 2 cents.
Okay.
You guys are more than welcome. If GoToMeeting happens to be available, I can set up the meetings for you. Or if you're just meeting subcommittees, you're more than welcome to use, Zoom or Google Duo or something like that on your own.
So do you want to have May 4th as another meeting like this? And then everybody can, the subcommittees can, figure out how they want to handle in between for their subcommittee meeting. Unless
Yeah, that works if you want.
Yeah.
That.
May 4th would work.
Yeah, I think May 4th for this similar meeting's fine. I mean, on my calendar at least, and then in between we can work on the subcommittee stuff and just. Yeah.
Joe Collins, question as far as what on Monday nights, it's what, planning board?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what regularly do they do first and third, or second and fourth on Mondays?
I think usually I want to say the first and third, but it seems like the pandemic is really throwing everyone for a loop.
Yeah.
I have a meeting on the
And
third.
the cultural council, I think, is Monday, the first Monday of every month, because that's Kate. They're not meeting tonight, but I think they usually do first Mondays.
They're actually meeting on Wednesday next week.
Yeah, they're doing Wednesday of this week or next week or whatever. But
What day?
May 11th instead of May 4th, if you think the first, because
Yeah, that'd probably be better. If I'll check the dates, and if one of them isn't available, I'll just pick that one if that works for everybody.
okay, so wait. If Brian, if you think cultural council is the first, why don't we prioritize May 11th and then backup would be May 4th?
yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, I have it in the calendar. Kate has the cultural council is supposedly May 4th as of right now.
All right, we'll go May 11th, and then we'll work from there. All right, I mean, that was supposed to be the start of town meeting, which we know is not going to happen now. We never know when the election's going to happen either. We're talking about the election June 1st or June 8th, if everything gets normalized. And town meeting is supposed to go later. So, oh well. All righty. So, unless anybody else has anything they want to.
I got one thing. Not good news, but not really surprising either. Household hazardous waste day. I think it was first weekend in May. That's been canceled. Not surprising with everything going on. Haven't heard if they're planning to reschedule it or continue to do the second date in late September. Actually, I think Seagal was planning to speak to everybody the last time we were supposed to meet as a group. So it was early March, and that was really when everything COVID-19 related really started in Norwood. That those couple days.
Right.
Yeah, it seems like a blur. But yeah, if I hear anything, I'll let everybody know. and that's not public yet, but I should be putting something out on social media probably tomorrow or Wednesday.
Okay. Hazardous waste is, spring is gone, fall probably.
Don't know yet, but if they do, I'll let everyone know. Hopefully we can do it in the fall.
Okay. Okay. So, May 11th, and everybody see if they can, get meeting in with the subcommittees. And then we'll do it again on May 11th. And, just keep it going. Good luck to everybody. Stay COVID-19 free.
You too.
All right. Thank you, Peter.
All righty, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah,
We'll see.
bye guys, thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Nice
Bye-bye.
seeing you.